Hey everyone, this is Julie and welcome to another SOFHAB review. And today I'm doing a book review covering a graphic novel called The Prince and the Dressmaker. Joining me once again is Rascal Entertainment.
Hello.
Prince Sebastian's looking for a bride, or rather his parents are looking for one for him, and he's too busy hiding his secret life from everyone. At night he puts on daring dresses and takes Paris by storm as the fabulous Lady Crystalia, the hottest fashion icon in the world, capital of fashion. Sebastian's secret weapon is his brilliant dressmaker, Francis, his best friend, and the one of only two people who know the truth. Sometimes he wears dresses, sometimes he doesn't. But
before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell to get updates on SOFHAB reviews for Netflix, for books, as well as fantastic tips and hacks and more.
Yes, thank you. And thanks so much for joining me. This book I really wanted to share with you. I'd never heard of it. I saw it in the library. Well, actually, Rascal saw it in the library. And she picked it up and said it looked interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, here, you read it first. And then if you like it, then I'll read it.
Right.
And we didn't know what to expect. It kind of reminded us, looking at it, of Princess Jellyfish.
Yes.
And we weren't sure if it was going to be like that or something different. Well, it's similar, but it is really something different.
Right.
And it's a wonderful fairy tale graphic novel because unlike the Princess, I keep saying the Princess Jellyfish, it's Princess Jellyfish.
Right.
It wasn't a fairy tale. It was supposed to take place in real life. This book is written and illustrated by Wang, and it actually was released in 2018. But that doesn't make it any less relevant or enjoyable. It's actually a book that was well received by critics when it originally came out. And the book also won a Harvey Award as well as an Eisner Award. And its film rights were purchased for publication by to be adapted by Universal Pictures the same year, immediately after it came out.
Right.
So
they already were jumping on this to adapt.
Right. So it says that Kristen Anderson Lopez, Robert Lopez, and Amy Herzog are attached to this project, and they're supposed to be adapting it into a movie musical. That's not what I would have expected.
Yeah, that means they're probably going to add more to the story if they keep the musical element. Like most adaptations do when they turn into a musical, they try to flesh out the characters through songs. And I don't think this story really needs it unless they're going to add in some new plots or something.
Doesn't make sense to me to do that. However, I know that musicals are popular. There are some that we like ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
But you've got to read this book and see that it's wonderful just as it's written. It's really sweet, and the artwork does remind us of Nimona.
Yes, very much.
But it's very bright and very vivid, and characters are likable. I think that's one thing that we both were surprised at.
Right.
Because sometimes when you get a book, especially when it's a one-shot, we forgot to say this is a one-shot.
Right.
And you get them, and sometimes the characters aren't really likable, but you keep reading, hoping it'll get better, or you keep reading, thinking that something's going to happen that never does. But in this one, it delivers exactly on what the back of the jacket promises.
Yes. And it includes like 2 reviews. It says, how does this book so perfectly combine exquisite and intricate dresses, adorable and lovable characters, and a perfect story about coming to know yourself as an adolescent? Wang is a genius, and I want Francis to design me a dress so I can go to the ballet with Lady Crystalia.
Yes. And yes, absolutely. They're so sweet. You can't help but love them. Now, yes, they do have a couple of bad villains or bad characters.
Right.
In here.
They're right.
It wouldn't be a fantasy if it didn't.
Right.
But the 2 main characters are absolutely adorable. You like them immediately. And when Prince Sebastian is dressed in Francis's designs, he looks gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes he has on different colored wigs. I think once his own hair was put up.
Mm-hmm.
But he loves just dressing in the clothing, and they tell you later on in the book why, so we won't spoil that.
Right.
But during this time he's spending with Francis, they fall for each other. You don't really know that he's fallen until later in the book.
Right. You think it's one-sided at first.
Right, but you know she's falling for him immediately. And it's really sweet. They are teens. I think they're 16.
Yeah, you're right, 16. And we had learned, when you get to the end of the book, there's a little bit of sketches, and the author tells you how they inked and drew the sketches for the characters and how they drew the book themselves. They wrote and illustrated themselves like a manga. Mm-hmm. And I actually found out that originally they had two different ideas for the story. One version, they were adults, and the other version, they were teens. Mm-hmm. And they stuck with the teenager one because it would retain innocence, because if it was for adults, it probably would have left room for more people to get a different interpretation. Mm-hmm. But it stays clean, it stays wholesome by leaving them as kids, and there isn't a point for someone to think something else ulterior for the story. It just stays perfectly wholesome as it is.
Definitely. Now it says that Wang wrote the character Sebastian/Cristale as someone who identifies with different modes of gender expression and is comfortable alternating between both masculine and feminine, noting that she might call the character genderqueer, but that other interpretations of the character's relationship to their gender presented by readers are also valid. So right. She's not marking it as anything in particular. Right. She allows the reader to decide how they view the character.
Right.
She just presents the character to you.
Right.
And for the clothing illustrations of the book, she actually researched historical materials on Pinterest. Mm-hmm. She wanted to feel like something that was fairy tale like and contemporary, but she didn't want to copy historically accurate mm-hmm. designs. Mm-hmm. And she drew the book illustrations on Bristol paper with a mechanical pencil she owned for 6 years.
Wow.
And she inked it with a Winsor & Newton size 2 series Kolinsky sable brush.
Very
Winsor
specific.
& Newton Black India ink. So when you
Very
see
specific.
the book, you'll understand why she got into detail, because you can see it has an appearance of being very deep ink.
Right.
And now you know why. And everything, well, it's not boxes, what's that called?
The panels?
Thank you. The panels as well as the word bubbles have black outlines, but the characters don't.
Right.
Some of the fashions have black outlines.
Right.
But the characters themselves do not. And
right.
This is just really a very fun and sweet book to read. Yes, there's a little bit of travel in it where a couple of times things look like they're going to go horribly wrong, mm-hmm. but they don't. And I'm really glad it didn't, because this would have made this book something else.
Right. It would have made it like so many other books we've seen where there's a certain push to have a narrative be fact and the reader better like it, or the reader is wrong, but they never do that in this book. You're just here to read a great story, enjoy the characters, and just have a fun time reading. It's a feel-good book, really. It's a feel-good love story and nothing more. And you can see why they want to adapt this into a movie. You just hope that they do it properly, as Bluey would say, because you don't want them to add things and recreate the characters and stuff to something entirely different, and then you get a whole different experience. Mm-hmm. Just how Nimona was completely different from the graphic novel version, and both have its fans, but it was treated differently because of the time it was made. Mm-hmm. So hopefully when this does get made, or they put on Netflix, they retain it being wholesome and fun for anyone to read.
Absolutely.
There's not even any swearing in here whatsoever.
And you're right, anyone can read this, any age range. It's a safe read for anyone. Mm-hmm. And again, that makes it immeasurable, just like Artemis Fowl.
Yes.
So I want to tell you a little bit more about Jen Wang. She's actually an American cartoonist, mm-hmm. writer, and illustrator based in Los Angeles, mm-hmm. and she's known for this specific book.
So that's the greatest work.
Yes. And she's also done one called Coco Be Good in Real Life that she wrote with Cory Doctorow, who I'm not familiar with. And she's the co-founder and organizer for the Los Angeles-based comics festival, Comics Arts LA.
Ooh.
So that's pretty neat. So I thought it'd be interesting to know that she is American. She writes in the style of a manga, mm-hmm. but they're graphic novels.
Right.
And we've seen actually some manga that's being written in the style of graphic novels, but they're manga.
Right.
One was Pride and Prejudice.
Right.
One was Jane Eyre. Mm-hmm. Another was Little Women.
Right.
And they were
fantastic.
Whole
series of them, yes.
And we should talk about a couple of those with you. But they were fantastic, and this is what this graphic novel reminded me of when I read it.
Right. And definitely would recommend it to pretty much anybody that enjoys these really wholesome, fun, adorable type stories, and you're looking for something that's a break from You know, if you want to break from being hard action and adventure, or you don't care for a lot of the books that are out that are more direct in just saying a message by telling a story,
Right.
this is perfect because it's just what it is. You get exactly what it tells you in the description, no more, no less. And you feel like, you know, if you bought it, you got your money's worth. And it's something you could reread many times over.
And it has a happy ending. Not quite the way you expect, but it is a happy ending.
Yes.
For them both, as well as people that are involved with them. So I really, really love that.
Which is something that has been lacking in a lot of stories recently with having unhappy endings. So that was a nice surprise.
Absolutely. So if you've read The Prince and the Dressmaker, let us know in the comments below. Did you love it? Did you find it adorable like we do? Let us know what you think if you haven't. It's available on Amazon, or you can go to your local library and check it out. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. Come back and let us know what you think.
And don't forget to like, subscribe, and click notification bell updates on SOFHAB reviews, not only for books but for Netflix. And don't forget the hacks, tips, spoofs, and much more types of videos on the channel.
Yes, thank you. If you haven't already, visit Rascal's channel. Rascal Entertainments is filled with so much fun, so many different types of entertainment for you, so many videos. She's got well over 1,500 now.
Yes.
So there's something there that you're going to love. Absolutely. At least one thing. But I promise you much, much more. So go give her channel a visit. And thank you for joining us today for this review. Stay tuned for more book, manga reviews, as well as some pause on Netflix review. I'm sorry. As well as some SOFHAB on Netflix reviews for some things that are coming out for November as well as for December. And yes, you can go to pause as well for some pause on Netflix for some Christmas specials that we'll be talking about as well.
Yes.
So thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate you so much. I'm Julie.
And I'm Rascal. Have a toontastic day.
Continue to be happy, healthy, and whole. See you next time.